Okay, so we are for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, we will be meeting at this time because of my duties in open book exam second phase. So this is only for this Monday and Tuesday, that's it. Anyhow, let us start the perquisite, next perquisite value of education facility. Already we have covered the tax treatment of 5 types of perquisites. How do we value these 5 perquisites? Accommodation, interest-free loan, motor car, then domestic servants, and fifth was household benefits or amenities. Now in today's class I will discuss with you the perquisite of education facility. When education is provided to the children or to the other members of the employee, how do we tax that perquisite? Now providing directly the cash to the employee is known as education allowance. That is not a perquisite. If my employer gives me, for example, 5,000 per year for my children education, it is not a perquisite, it is children education allowance. But suppose my employer has its own school or has its own college where my children are studying at very less fee, or maybe my children are studying totally free of cost, and which is that school? This is my own employer's school or college. Then it is a perquisite. Had my children been studying in any other school, another school, I would have paid a different amount. So government says it's a saving to me because your children are studying in your employer's own school and college, and maybe the fees charged is less here, so you are ultimately saving something. This saving is nothing but your income. I have to pay the tax. And not only children, even other members of the households are covered. Parents may be studying, other dependent members may be studying. So government says there is a benefit to you. So now in today's class, let me discuss with you perquisite in respect of education facility. So let me share one page of my book with you. It will save my time. Okay. So let me share a page. Is this page visible?
Yes.
Okay, now you can see the last paragraph 4.6.5. It is value of education facility. The value of this benefit depends upon two factors, not situation, two factors. So what are those two factors? First factor is where this facility has been provided to you or to the members. Where this facility is being provided, where this education facility is being provided to you or your members. Is it in an institution or at any place other than an institution? Now the college is an institution, school is an institution. Tuition center is not an institution, but there also education facility can be provided. I hope you got my point, what I want to say. Whether the facility is provided in an institution, because institutions have some fulfilled or some predetermined criteria. If I live in any society, so that is a society. If I live in my own house separately, that is not a society, but still that is a house. Same is the case here. Education can be availed in an institution or at any place which may not be large enough to be an institution, but that may be a good place. So that is known as place other than an institution. So what is my first factor? I need to check before determining this perquisite value whether the education is provided in an institution or at any place other than an institution. This is my first factor. What is my second factor? My second factor is this facility is being provided. Is it provided to my children or other than children, other members? I will tell you what do I mean by other members. Parents are also covered in this category of members. So determining the value of perquisite depends upon two situations. First, is this facility provided in an educational institution or at any place other than an educational institution? My second factor, is this facility being provided to my children or other members of my household? These are the two factors which will tell me how to determine the value. So let me tell you my first valuation, this heading. So what is written? Education facility provided to any member, including children. So everyone is covered, member as well as children, of the employee at any place other than an institution. Now this is which category where it does not matter to whom the education facility is being provided, but it is not provided at an institution, it is provided at any place other than an institution. For example, I am working with X Limited. For example, I am working with X Limited and my daughter wants to do some skill enhancement course or maybe some computer course or maybe some designing course, and there is a place or there is a person, Mr. X, who is a designer, and he teaches my daughter these designing courses and the charges are 20,000. For example, employer pays that 20,000. This becomes taxable in my hand. So I am discussing which category where education facility is provided to anyone, whether my children or my other members, but not in an educational institution, at any place other than an educational institution. In that case, what is taxable? The rule says whatever is the expenditure of the employer incurred in this behalf, this minus whatever amount recovered from the employee. The difference is nothing but you are saving, pay the tax. Point clear or not? Kindly tell whether this point is clear or not. Kindly raise your hand if this point is clear. Without wasting the time because we have less time. So raise your hand if this point is clear. Great. So whenever education facility is provided to anyone at any place other than an institution, what value is taxable in my hands? What is my saving? Whatever is the expenditure of the employer incurred in this behalf minus amount recovered from the employee, that is the saving. Second point. Now what is this case? As you can see, education facility provided to any member including children, but now in an educational institution. That institution may be my institution or that institution may be any other person's institution. It's not that I have my own institution. It's not that every employers are having their own institution. So maybe my children are studying in an institution which is owned and maintained by my employer, or maybe my children are studying at any other institution which may not be owned and maintained by the employer, but my children are studying in an institution, not at any place other than an institution, as was there in my last example where my daughter was going at the house of a designer to get some designing training. So that was not an institution, that is a place. Now in this case, where the children as well as any other member is studying, that is an institution which will fulfill some parameters so that it is called as an institution. In that case, whatever expenditure incurred is not the answer. Whatever employer incurred the expenses is not the answer. The answer is what Act says: cost of such education for whatever course your children or members are studying in a similar institution in or near the locality. In my earlier case, when it was not an educational institution, I didn't have this option to check. When my children were not studying in an educational institution, I cannot check cost of such education in a similar institute, because I was not at all studying in an education institution. My children were not at all studying in an institution. So at that time, in the above category, I used which word? employer's expenditure incurred in this behalf. But if the children or parents or any member is studying in an institution, then I have the option to check for the similar education what is the fees in similar institution in a similar locality. That becomes the taxable value. Of course, I have to deduct minus amount recovered from the employee. Point clear or not? Raise your hand. Is this second category clear? You can read it and please raise your hand. If it is clear, if there is a problem, please unmute and ask, otherwise raise your hand. Okay, so let me proceed. So this is the calculation of education, but in some case this is tax free, no tax. What is that case? This is my exemption. In case free education is provided to the children in an institution, and if cost of such education in a similar institution does not exceed 1000 per month per child, education facility becomes totally tax free. And I simplify these lines. If free education is provided to children, not to other members, to children in an institution, not at a place other than an institution, in an institution. So there are 3 points to be noticed. If free education in an institution provided to children, and what you need to check, not the cost of education in the same institution, you have to check the cost of education in a similar institution, and if that cost in a similar institution does not exceed 1000 per month per child, then the value is totally tax free. Read these 5 lines and raise your hand if there is any problem. Unmute and ask the problem, otherwise raise your hand. Read these 5 lines of exemption, and if it is clear, raise your hand. If it is not clear, please unmute and ask right now. Hurry up, raise your hand. If it is not clear, please ask, unmute and ask. If free education is provided to employee children in an institution, and fourth condition, if cost of education in similar institution does not exceed 1000 per month per child, the perquisite of education is tax free. Now it is not so simple to understand. If you have raised your hand, still I am sure that you have not understood the exact point. Now you will start getting some confusion when I will raise some points with you. So see now. Now see this first example. Can you tell me the answer of first example? Illustration 1. Can you tell me the answer of illustration 1? Your answer is given. Can you see whether it is correct or not? Answer 1. I have given this illustration. I have also given the value. Simply check. Is it clear or not? Is it clear or not? First illustration. Parents are provided free education. Cost of education in a similar institution 800 per month. Now do you remember when it is an institution, what is the answer? When education is provided in an institution, what is the answer? Cost of education in a similar institution minus amount recovered. So in this case, cost of education in a similar institution is 800 and there is nothing recovered from the employee. So 800 per month into 12 is taxable. Point clear or not? Raise your hand if illustration 1 is clear. If illustration 1 is clear, raise your hand. Very good. Now check yourself. Any problem in illustration 2? Check yourself. Check yourself. Any problem in illustration 2? In illustration 2, what is happening? The fee is 3000 per month. So it is whether it is 10 rupees or 10 lakh rupees per month, doesn't matter. The answer is same. Cost of education in a similar institution minus amount recovered. There is nothing recovered. So second case, raise your hand if it is clear. Hurry up, raise your hand if it is clear. This is the only way by which I can see that how much percentage of class is clear in the concepts. It gives me a little bit idea to proceed further. Raise your hand if these first and second illustrations are clear. Illustration 3. Check yourself. Is it clear or any problem? Check illustration 3. Is it clear or there is any problem? In this case, there is some amount which is recovered. Illustration 3. Check yourself and tell me, is there any problem? Check yourself whether there is any problem or not in illustration 3. Kindly raise your hand if illustration 3 is clear. And last case, illustration 4. Is it clear? Is illustration 4 clear? Please check. 4 is also simple. It is just like illustration 2. The only thing is, in this case, there is something which is recovered. That's it. So I think I should proceed. Now, fifth illustration. Check fifth illustration. Can anyone tell me the answer of fifth illustration with explanation? Anyone who can tell me the answer of fifth illustration explanation, please unmute and explain. Answer must be visible to you, but I need explanation. Illustration 5. Can anyone explain? Anyone? Anyone who can explain illustration 5 to the entire class? Illustration 5. Can anyone explain?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, please.
So in this case, the employer is providing free educational facility to the children of the employee. So here the case will apply that in case free education facility is provided to the children of the employee in any educational institution, whether it is maintained by the employer or not, but the cost of such education in a similar institution does not exceed 1000 per month per child, then it will not be constitute a perquisite. So here
Yes.
the value is rupees 800 per month
Yes.
and it is
100%.
less than 1000. So it will not constitute a perquisite in the hands that is taxable in the hands of employee.
Yeah, 100% correct. 100% correct explanation. So I think I should proceed. In this case, free education. What do I mean by free education? Can you tell me what do I mean by free education? Lichi Sharma, can you tell me what do I mean by free education?
Sir, means anything is not taken from the employee.
Yes, that means it is 100% free. Not even rupee 1 is recovered from the employee. Now this education facility is a little bit technical because of some court rulings. So let me discuss with you some high court rulings. When you study any legal subject law, what one book says may not be correct. So never go away with the wordings of any book, whether it is my book or of any other author's book. Everyone can be wrong and you may be correct. It depends upon the provisions of the law and honorable court rulings. So rather than simply trusting every author, what one author says is correct, you should trust your own knowledge by reading the act yourself. Okay, so there are some differences in different books on this point. Let me share now these points. I am sharing it with the help of the court rulings. Now see, first heading. Carefully, so then you will get to know some differences in other books. Exemption of 1000 per month per child is not available if free education is not provided. Am I right? Exemption of 1000 per month is not available if free education is not provided. Because when you read the act, see my highlighted word, the act uses the word free. If even rupee 1 per month is charged, if rupee 1 per month is charged from the employee, exemption will not be available. Saying this because it is a ruling of Delhi High Court, 2008 ruling, Birla Vidya Niketan versus Income Tax Officer 2008. It is a ruling of Delhi High Court. Honorable Delhi High Court has said that free is necessary in case some fee is charged from the child, even if less than 1000 per month per child, exemption will not be available. I don't know whether you have understood or not, but read this illustration to get the clarity. Read this illustration. Read the illustration carefully. Exemption will not be available if something is charged from the employee, even if less than 1000 per month, even if single rupee is charged from the employee, you cannot take any exemption as per the ruling of Honorable Delhi High Court. Read this illustration and raise your hand if the point is clear. Read the illustration carefully and raise your hand if this point is clear. Hurry up, read it and raise your hand if the point is clear. Now, what is the confusion in some of the books? In some of the books, you will find the exemption in this example. In some of the books, they will write that 1000 per month maximum is exempt. In some of the books, they will write 1000 per month exemption. Those books may also be correct. But as per the Honorable Delhi High Court ruling, that is not the correct picture. So both the interpretations are correct. I am going with this view of the Honorable Delhi High Court because I also believe that what the Honorable Delhi High Court has said is true because of the language of the Act. It is a ruling of Delhi High Court. It is not applicable across the nation. Honorable Supreme Court rulings are applicable in other states, but Delhi High Court ruling is applicable only in Delhi. But still, I believe that what the logic is given by the Delhi High Court is correct, and that is why I have explained this in my book. Otherwise, what other authors says may also be correct. So you have to decide on your own. You are not supposed to believe what I say or what others say. You have to believe what the Act says and what your own interpretation says. My purpose is, it's not a coaching center, so I cannot simply tell you the answer. My purpose is to tell you the exact picture so that in future you can argue correctly. So in this example, I have not given 1000 per month exemption, even though cost of education does not exceed 1000 per month. Because the Delhi High Court says even if single penny is charged, exemption will not be available. First point. Now second is also a little bit confusing, but exemption of 1000 per month is not available if cost of education exceeds 1000 per month per child. Now what the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court has said. What was my earlier point, first point of Delhi High Court? Even if something is charged, don't ask for any exemption. Punjab and High Court is taking care of different issue. It doesn't say what is charged. It says that if cost of education exceeds 1000 per month, you cannot claim exemption of 1000 per month. It says where the cost of education exceeds 1000 per month per child, then you cannot claim exemption of 1000 per month. Why? Because here the Act, the Honorable High Court, Punjab and Haryana High Court said that Act uses which word? Act says that where cost does not exceed. Punjab and Haryana High Court has said that the Act uses the language where education cost does not exceed 1000 per month. If it exceeds 1000 per month, then you cannot claim exemption of 1000 per month. For example, if cost of education becomes 1600 per month, you cannot say that out of 1600 per month, 1000 should be the exemption. Court says no. Court says that Act uses the language if education cost in a similar institution does not exceed 1000 per month, then exemption. If it exceeds 1000 per month, there is no exemption. In some of the books you will find exemption of 1000 per month, but I also go by the ruling of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, and I also think that Honorable Court has what that Honorable Court has said. I also believe that that is the correct interpretation, and that is why I have used this information for the readers. This is the ruling of CIT, Commissioner of Income Tax versus Director DPS. Now read this illustration A and understand what the Honorable Court has said. Read this illustration carefully. Hurry up, read this illustration carefully. Raise your hand if illustration 1 is clear. This illustration is based upon the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court ruling. Raise your hand if it is clear. In some of the books you will find 1000 per month exemption in this illustration A. I have not given any exemption because of the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court ruling. Raise your hand if this concept is clear so that I can proceed. Great. I hope read illustration B also. Again, it is based on Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court ruling. Read it and raise your hand if it is clear. Raise your hand if this is clear. Now again, third issue. Third issue says that always the cost of education to tax the value if the children is studying in employer's own school at very less rate. For example, other children are studying at 2000 per month tuition fee, but my children in my employer school are studying at only 500 per month fee. The act says in that case also you cannot take cost of education in own school. Whatever is the situation, you have to take the cost of education in a similar institution, not your own institution. So this is also a ruling of Delhi High Court. It says cost of education in same institution cannot be taken for the purpose of computing value. Always what needs to be taken is cost of education in a similar institution. You cannot take cost of education in own institution. You have to go to this similar institution. It is also CIT versus DPS, Honorable Delhi High Court ruling of 2008. I hope the point is clear. This is what my education facility is. Raise your hand if this education facility is clear to you. Please raise your hand if this education is clear. Is it clear? Raise your hand. Okay, now you WhatsApp through your CR, you WhatsApp me your attendance. From today onwards, we have to maintain the records of attendance also. But for Monday and Tuesday, I will be busy because of the second phase examination, so I cannot take the attendance in the class right now. Through your CR, please WhatsApp your attendance. There are 40 students who are present. Or you wait, let me download this sheet. You please wait. Okay, you please wait, let me download this sheet. Let me download this sheet, please wait. From today onwards, I will maintain the records. These may be needed for submission in the college. Okay, that's all for today. Because for Monday and Tuesday, we'll be starting a little bit late and we will be ending at the scheduled time because you must be having your own lectures. I'll be having my own lecture also. From Wednesday, we'll be regular because the second phase examination for which I'm the in charge, that will be over tomorrow. Goodbye. If you have any doubt, you please stay. Others can leave, please. Attendance I have taken. I have downloaded the sheet, so you please leave. If you have any doubt, please stay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Those who have left, any doubt? Those who have left, those who are still there, any doubt? Please ask, otherwise I'll be ending this session. Any problem, any doubt? So I think I should end this session now.